Weilgus, Executive Director of the Esports Innovation Center. And if you're staying with us this afternoon, we're going over to the Esports Innovation Center, and Andrew's going to give us a tour, and that's going to be great. It's right in this same building. All we have to do is follow Andrew around. He's going to leave it.
So we'll lead like the Pied Piper out of this room into the other.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. What is esports anyhow?
That's usually the first question we get, Rebecca, and thank you again for having me. Esports, simply put, is competitive video game playing. It is a trend that probably started more like 40 years ago. People think it's nascent, but it really isn't. The first big money, and I do mean big money in quotes because it was literally like $1,000 prize, was in 1979 for a contest that involved asteroids. I believe I heard another woman whose name was Rebecca tell the story that her parents let her take a bus from California to Orlando, Florida by herself because the company only provided a round-trip ticket for one person so she can compete. And she set the world record for asteroids. I believe that was the first, quote, esports tournament. But since then, it's become a multi-billion-dollar industry, and the companies that are at the head of that pyramid are groups like Microsoft and Sony, Apple, Amazon. And what people don't understand is, at least at the Esports Innovation Center, we care very little about people playing video games. Almost nothing about that at all. What we care about is the ecosystem that goes into creating the game, marketing the game, the tournaments that come in. We were at the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey a couple of weeks ago for the League of Legends Championship Series. They had 11,000 paid at the Prudential Center to watch people play League of Legends. They were there over 2 days. There was a 5-hour fanfare outside the Prudential Center leading up to the event. And all I witnessed is a venue that in the middle of August that hosts the Devils would never have an event that size going on, selling drinks, beer, food, and the demographic was all working adults that were just huge fans of the game. So there is a lot of misconception about what the industry is and what we're trying to do. But the Esports Innovation Center at its core is here to build that ecosystem out, to focus on workforce innovation. Places like Stockton University have esports programs that are starting. People are like, well, are they classes on playing video games? No, there's no classes on playing video games. The classes are a combination of computer science, School of Business, and hotel restaurant management, and it teaches transferable skill sets that you could easily work for the NBA with, Major League Baseball with. It really doesn't make a difference that it's esports.
So is there a major in esports coming at Stockton University?
There is. It actually just launched this fall, and this is the first semester. And again, it's a combination of those 3 schools. So most of the classwork is what I always like to say, and I've used it before, but it's transferable skills. So it's the same accounting class you would be taking if you were just taking accounting. You're not counting Mario gold coins in the class.
So what are the jobs that are available? What kind of jobs is your center going to help create?
Yeah, so we're here to also try to bridge the gap between what the casinos can offer in terms of experience and what there is in esports. So there is certainly a future gaming element of this. For example, Hard Rock was one of the first in the country to put a pay-to-play video game tournament together. They had a Madden NFL football tournament where 400 attendees came. And things like that. Eventually you'll see a poker room, esports room for every casino where people can play head-to-head for money, where, any random Wednesday night Hard Rock can advertise a $500 first-place Madden tournament and attract a younger demographic into the mix. We talk about trying to make sure the brick-and-mortar side of the casinos stays put. We face an issue because the majority of casino revenue from the floor comes from slot machines. The average age of a slot machine player is over 65. So the goal is really to try to get a younger group of people into the casinos that then experience food and beverage and all these other wonderful aspects of it, but might be drawn for a tournament or a pay-to-play tournament that they could personally enter.
Okay, so your Esports Innovation Center is pretty new. It's only it's less than a year old, isn't it?
About 2 years old, but we really launched in June. So it took a while to first get the location set and also to have the industry partnerships to start to establish the company on. So our first major industry partners were a company called SHI, which provides technology services to government institutions, and Lenovo Computers, which outfitted the center with almost $250,000 of equipment, which is able to be utilized by programs that we have with the Boys and Girls Club, AC Youth Services, the Police Activities League, all of those community groups that can come in and not again, just work on gaming, but work on learning the industry and learning what jobs there are for them in the future, and the pathway to those jobs. There's also future certification programs we're going to be introducing. So Microsoft has a ton of free certification programs that any student as young as 12, 13 years old could start taking to build their credentials.
Okay, sounds good. Lenovo just outfitted your new lab, right? With
Correct.
What? How many new computers? 30?
We have 24 systems, 20 that are in play, and then 4 what I would call streaming or content creation systems that manage different processes in the center.
So we're going to see that in just a little bit.
Indeed.
When we go over there for the reception. So hang in with us to go over to the reception and hear Andrew and actually experience what's going on at the Esports Innovation. Because sometimes it's a little hard to imagine, what is it? What exactly is it? What is the future of esports? And you also talked about maybe a tournament here for esports in Atlantic City.
Yeah, the first event we had was the North to Shore Festival that we worked on with the State Economic Development Authority, and we had 16 regional high schools competing in an esports tournament at the shore with Garden State Esports, and it was the first opportunity for a lot of the students and their parents to get to not only see the center, but to really see Stockton University's campus. And that's a big aspect of this, is we're trying to keep students in state. We've had consistently a brain drain in New Jersey where our top STEM students leave to go to schools outside of the state because, quite frankly, there are more schools outside of the state that sometimes have more of a reputation with sports and things like that. Esports changes that dynamic. Stockton has the #2 ranked Rocket League team, and while you might not think that's a big deal, my intern, Alex, went to a private school in Ohio, is from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and chose Stockton University solely based on the fact that their Rocket League team is the #2 Rocket League team in the country. And he wanted to be here because he saw the EIC was opening. He figured he could come right in, and literally the dude knocked on my door, was like, "Can I have an internship?" I couldn't turn him away. So, but it's it's a real huge recruiting tool for the schools in state to build that infrastructure, because if students know there's programs they can match their passion with, get jobs that are available to them when they graduate, and be in an area they can help make whole and grow up and love. Evan talked about moving back here. You got to be able to move back to something. If you're coming from an area, you got to have businesses that support it. So, we're reaching out to companies like Sony and companies like Microsoft that have sometimes over 300 affiliate game studios and say, hey, next time you're building a new game studio, let's sit down and talk with the Economic Development Authority of New Jersey and see what tax incentives are there for you to base it in Atlantic City. Maybe you're designing a game that will be perfect in a casino, and we could test it out at the EIC first. So that's really what we're focused on. And from a personal standpoint, my life in Atlantic City, which goes back to I was at WrestleMania 4 in 83 or 84, is my first time here at Boardwalk Hall. I fell in love with the city, and then I never could understand why it wasn't more of a hub as a sports culture center. It's a worldwide city. We've never had a sports culture here. So I've made a large part of my life to help develop sports culture. I own Atlantic City FC, which is the minor league soccer team here. We just finished our 6th season of competition. We're starting programs with the Boys and Girls Club for youth soccer in the area. Since we've started, Atlantic City High School women's team started a soccer program. Atlantic Cape Community College has men's and women's soccer for the first time. So all of these things are overlooked but critical components of building an area and building the social fabric of an area, because you get kids believing and participating. I had an amazing experience with Boys and Girls Club being in the center. We were two of the kids were playing badminton, and I asked one of them, "Oh, did you see the new Hard Knocks that came on TV?" And he looked at me and he said, "Dead face, we don't have a TV in my house." So you take for granted what you're doing for these kids to have access to that technology and to be able to do this and get to experience that, and to give it to them essentially for free because of how it's designed.
Very good and very well said. Thank you, Andrew. And we look forward to going over to the Esports Innovation Center.